Yep. All right, I call this meeting to order on Wednesday, December 20th at 6 p.m. Sasha, can you do a roll call for us, please?
Chairperson Wendy Brendel,
Here.
co-chairperson Todd Lane,
Here.
Sandy Kalich,
Here.
Shannon Lane,
Here.
Lori Rafferty,
Here.
Julie Mizak, absent. Mayor Rick Cohen, absent. Mayor Pro Tem Trevor Smith, absent. Board member Terry Howard.
Here.
Kim Boyd is present on Zoom. Attorney Rick Bourne is present on Zoom, and I'm here.
All right.
And we have an upper quorum.
And do we have any public comments for this evening?
We do not.
All right, so consent items, approval of the agenda as it stands. Do we have any adjustments that we need to look at making for this evening? All right,
Nope.
so do I have a motion to approve the agenda as it stands for this evening?
I make a motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second that.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval of the agenda as it stands? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and let's go ahead and list that Julie is here.
Yep, got it.
I'll let Julie get settled real quick. And while Julie is settling, do we have approval of the minutes from the December 13th meeting?
I make approval.
So I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 13th meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving of the minutes from the December 13th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Now, quick question, Sasha, since I was not at this meeting, do you still want me to sign this or do we want Todd to sign it?
That is up to you. If you have read it and approved the minutes, then you can sign it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we cover all our,
Yep, I had Todd sign the last two since you went here.
all right, perfect. All right, so new business, development impact fees.
So, just to give you some background, Kim and I did speak with the town manager about adopting and using Elizabeth's new ordinance on development impact fees and the study prepared by BBC to create the, accurate fees for their community based on 2023 dollars. And, he said, oh, you can use our ordinance, and we discussed going to BBC and using their fee schedule. And what I've done in this provision is make our fee schedule not incorporated in the ordinance. It'll be a resolution, just like our other fee schedules, and you'll see that throughout here tonight. And then the other interesting thing is that their new ordinance almost is identical to our current ordinance. So that was the good news. And there's very few things that we don't have that they have, even though our ordinance is 20 years old. So the state law with regard to imposing impact fees is not really changed that much.
It's 20 years old, it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating actually to me, but so you can see in on the first page that the impact fee studied, I say it, we're still relying on the 2004, but we're going to update it in 2024. I haven't exactly figured out how we're going to do it, which is why we're going to do it by resolution, but at least we can get these provisions going. I did it again in 414.142 C. You can see And then really nothing changes until our definition of site specific improvements. I just thought their definition is more clear. But one thing I struggled with today was we don't have our own police force anymore, but we pay for law enforcement through an IGA. And I haven't really seen that IGA for a while, but what we're really paying for is, I'm guessing, E911 services and law enforcement. So the way impact fees are structured, you can impose them for law enforcement for the funds to go toward capital facilities or facilities. And I don't know what Elbert County would think about this, or if that makes sense to have it in there. And so it's going to be in there for right now until somebody may have an opinion or more knowledge than I do about that. So that would be my first question to all of you. And then, I've heard the sheriff come and talk about how much money they need and revenue they need and assistance. And, unlike Elizabeth, who has her own police force, we don't, we're just paying for it.
Why don't we have our own police force?
Can't afford it. Can't
It
afford
was long, we can't afford it.
Because we used to have about, what, 5 years ago?
Yes, and the board voted to suspend temporarily.
But once we get rid of it, it's always harder to get it back.
Yep.
So
Well,
that,
then they sold off all the equipment and everything.
that was
so,
right after,
Yeah,
right?
we've got
Although
to start.
We
right
do
from
have the blue
scratch.
lockers downstairs still.
Oh, lockers,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know the
Start from the
sidetrack.
beginning.
So if they need the lockers, we still have those in the basement.
Sounds like we're in a conundrum because we don't have them, but we got rid of them, and so here we are.
I think it would be a good idea to keep it in there, just for the fact that,
Just
Well,
in case.
money
We would
goes.
have to, in order to keep us from being challenged, we would have to look at our IGA for 2024 and make sure that what we're paying for would include some of these improvements and facilities.
Okay,
And I think Kim's on the phone, so she probably knows way more than I do.
And if I remember correctly, for a long time before Lone Tree had their own police force, they were also into an IGA. So I'm sure that they had something written into their stuff before they got their police force, for all the development in Lone Tree. Just something to think about if you guys know anybody to touch base with in those areas.
Kim, do we adopt that IGA annually with the sheriff? Do you remember?
We can if we,
Need
either party comes forward to revise it, yes.
Okay, so
but That
yeah.
is not,
So we can look at that and see if the language protects us right now and whether we need to add it in. Because are you looking at that, Kim, where it says, maintenance operations, buildings, equipment, vehicles, and related capital facilities. And it's not our law enforcement. So,
we don't have any of these anymore, nothing.
right, but
We-
we're paying for it, I guess. And so in paying for it, are we contributing to these types of facilities and improvements?
That's hard for me to say because we're paying for a law enforcement service and it's not stipulated in the IGA exactly what the money we pay them for goes to. That's for them to decide how they put it in their budget, I'm assuming. We are just paying for the services that they provide.
So if we can get their permission, so we can protect it actually protects both parties, right? Protects us because we can impose the fee and then it gives them more revenue.
Yeah, if we're able to collect that and transfer that through like we do the school, I think that would be great.
Yeah, so I think we can. We just have to change that IGA. So for the time being, it's on my list for Kim and I to figure it out, but I left it in there.
Okay.
Because it seems like if we got a big development, we'd have a problem providing law enforcement.
Law enforcement already said when they were trying to put that last one in there, they had a big problem with that, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
35,000 miles in this town, in this county.
So you can see, as you go down to imposition and computation of impact fees, where I've created that impact fee schedule. That's really all I've changed, because after comparing Elizabeth's, it's really not any different. The only thing they did is their capital facilities are 5 years instead of, 7 years instead of 5 years. But the state law allows us to adjust it every 5 years.
Real quick, just a couple of little typos that I know that when you're checking it later, you'll find. But if we go under that red, where it goes site related or site specific improvements include without limitation, and M, right below that, the width and the set in that very first line right up below that.
Oh, yeah, with this, got it, WILH.
Where
Entrance.
are you?
Right. Group, right underneath it, respect to parks, open spaces and trails, fee. It should say set forth herein, it says sell.
Okay,
And with respect to.
And the width.
Oh, yeah, it says sell.
oh, and then I added, oh gosh, sorry, I'm not on silent. So the most important thing being that at the end of this packet, you'll see our previous fee schedule. That was based upon $2020. No, 2004, right? $2004. And then below it, or depending how you're looking at it, you can see what Elizabeth has adopted.
Where are you, Liz?
Second, very last page. This is
Oh.
Elizabeth.
Gotcha.
Okay, I might be missing a page.
I think so.
Yeah,
This
in the
one,
back.
and then this one.
that on the back is just a really short, sweet, simple one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Okay.
not short, it's not short.
Well, the one that we have for us was old and long, and then this other side is really short.
Yeah, you guys have it. So it's
Okay.
just, you had the right one.
You
Okay,
want the short one or the long one?
I want you to look at both, if you could, please.
okay,
All right, so the one that's struck through is our existing impact fee structure, development fee structure. And then the short one is based upon a fee structure just adopted by the town of Elizabeth.
Actually, that's not our current one, Ruth. It's not far off. It's the same figures. We just added a commercial one. And
Yeah.
when you're looking at it online, it's hard to find where they put those updates there because they didn't update. You have to go to the update tab to find the updated table.
Oh, okay, but
This-
it's not much difference, right?
No, these last figures on this last tier 4
Yeah.
is what we with for single family and multifamily. We just added a non-residential one that was never in there for whatever reason, even though it was part of the study that was done then. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
I don't even know what tier 4 meant, by the way.
I don't know. They did it in steps from the point where they updated them in, what is it, 2017 till 20.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that, to be honest with you. Inflation.
Yeah, but we didn't have that when we were negotiating with them.
We only had what you're looking at marked out is what we had. That's what our code showed and that's what they were trying to go off of. And we realized we didn't have anything for commercial.
Okay, so there's lots of things that are confusing about this, because when you look at our existing, even though it's a little bit different, like Kim said, $3,049 was the cumulative single family impact fee. And when you look at, where's my numbers? I added them all up to make it simple. And when you look at Elizabeth, theirs comes to $7,070 for each residential unit, because you have to add police impact fee, public buildings impact fee, parks open space, and public works impact fee. Are you guys following me?
Yeah,
What do we, streets, which one applies to streets? Public,
Public
Public works, yeah,
okay.
and infrastructure. So the
And
most-
is,
yeah,
is this part of what's going in the resolution, so it can be adjusted
Yes.
without having to do a whole new thing? Is that the idea?
Mhm.
Okay.
well, we're
Just-
gonna start with one issue that has been identified by Elizabeth, and for us to adopt their numbers, we need to do some homework. Hopefully that doesn't cost much money on making sure Elizabeth's numbers are closer to the costs it would be for our community. And what we don't want to do is have to try to do a $20,000 impact fee analysis by BBC Consulting.
Ruth,
Yep.
you, had your, I don't remember what her name is right now, but when we were in the middle of all of that with him, you had that financial analyst take a look at that and gave her opinion on it.
Yeah, so what we did was we adjusted it to $2023.
Mhm.
And it came close to doubling. And that may be the easiest, cleanest way, because then we just keep our current analysis, our current structure. We add the commercial in, and we adjust it to $2024 and start there.
Rather
And
than go.
then we're not at risk, quite frankly, for being sued. That's the number one thing. And secondly, we don't have to spend money.
Okay.
I mean, we already spent money paying her, right?
Right.
Which wasn't much, but I think you got reimbursed for that.
So really, the difference between, you said it was gonna be about double, is based on our old numbers to 2024 inflation.
Yep, I can look at that actually pretty easy.
And we didn't get reimbursed for that, just so you know.
Oh, we didn't?
No, ma'am.
That's on our list.
That's on our list.
From our
It's
study.
difference, if it was exactly double, it's a difference of $772 between what Elizabeth's fee schedule is and just doubling our old to $2024. If you think that it's less of a potential for lawsuit, I would highly suggest that we just double or just take these numbers and put them towards inflation for 2024.
Yeah,
If,
what I want to do is just grab it
okay,
and look at it. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay. Oh, remember, it's so hard to read? Oh my gosh. Okay. So that was revenue. So if we adjusted it. Plan review fees would double. Building permit fees would double, impact fee revenues would almost double. It goes from 98 to 179, so it's pretty close.
Okay,
So that's what we're gonna do.
yeah, I
Sounds
think,
good.
I think that's
I think it
probably
Sounds about what we should do.
a little bit better, and then we can always, if we see a lot, we can always have somebody else pay for a bigger impact fee. And go that route down the road.
Yep.
Get somebody else to pay for it, we don't want to.
You got it.
So if we, what are your thoughts about it being in the ordinance, or that we keep it as a fee schedule?
Fee schedule allows an easier change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right?
Agreed.
Cause we don't wanna sit and do this again for another 6 months, so
No.
the fee schedule, that's
Not even
a
close.
much quicker, easier change, so.
Right. Keep it separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep it separate. Cause then that's just
Yeah.
one section we have to change and not the whole code.
Yes.
Less room for error too, probably. If it's
Right.
Okay. So I'll work on that and getting it more uniform, and when we adopt the zoning code, we'll adopt these new fee schedules too. Okay,
Now, with the, real quick though, with the fee schedules, we did not have non-residential before. How are we gonna go ahead and put non-residential in here?
I don't see how you can, our,
You mean if you're doubling one, how do you double nothing? Like,
Right.
we never originally had it. I would have to go back and read that 2004 study to see why they excluded it or didn't include it, but it's certainly contemplated in our ordinance.
Okay,
Nothing to suggest why they didn't include that, and then at that, it was only like $3.04 per square foot. Yeah,
but per square foot. no.
but there was no verbiage as to why they excluded it. We made assumptions, which, probably shouldn't do, but at the time, we think that maybe Kiowa realized their size and didn't think that they would have that much growth commercial wise that would necessitate an impact fee.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's the only thing we could come up with, because there was nothing indicating why they would leave that out.
We're going anywhere in 2004.
Yeah.
okay.
We were staying widow and nobody else was moving in. We were lying to ourselves.
Okay, so now we are gonna, and Kim's probably gonna shoot me on this, but, well, I took liberty that I don't always do like this. I do it with other stuff, but, under administration and enforcement, do you guys have that in front of you?
Yes.
Planning
Zone commission,
Yep.
yes.
So we, at one of our meetings, went through the Planning and Zoning Commission's role and responsibilities and, the 7-person aspect. And
Yes.
then I read this provision, which really doesn't change that. But I think that it makes our planning and zoning commission roles and rules and how they operate so much cleaner. So I am proposing that we change this section. I mean, it talks about notice and I don't know, it's just more streamlined. Oh, this is the way P and Z operates and this is what our rights are and I think it works better. Oh, but here's the paper of general circulation.
Where are you looking from?
Okay, you're at the next section, which is,
Yeah. Planning and
planning.
zoning.
yeah,
I have a question on number one, if we're, that's where we're starting. I thought it says shall consist of 7 members.
Yeah.
I thought we discussed that it was
5,
Minimum.
minimum of 5.
but it could be more.
Yeah.
That's because there are sometimes it's heck and high water to try to get people in here.
Yeah.
So we were at 5 and then updating it.
A minimum.
Just think we added 3, we were down to 2.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. Okay,
If 5 is,
that's easy to change.
Or
so, I mean, if we can at least keep 5 instead of 7.
a minimum of 5.
A minimum.
Minimum of 5.
you considered a member?
Yes.
Yes,
We're
but,
6.
so we're a
But we
member
had
of 6.
been-
Yeah,
We
we
bid
had
down to 3.
Yeah.
I would say 5 is realistic.
Yeah.
A town.
What we
Something
wrote what we wrote before was a minimum of 5 members.
Yes.
So minimum of 5 is good.
And something to bring up, you were talking about the newspaper of record. The
It's only-
town,
That's only if we change the official date of our meetings, then you have to publish once. That's it.
Okay.
Not changing anything.
because I think the town meeting was talking about, leaving the newspaper and just posting online and on the notice board,
And then possibly the post office.
and then possibly the
If-
post
if you have
office.
time.
Yeah, if we have time,
Yeah,
but
icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But we should be consistent.
Yeah,
And in a spirit of being consistent, I thought we were gonna go with just planning commission and take out zoning.
oh yes, it should
Yeah.
it should say planning commission,
Right.
because that's how I have it labeled now.
Okay.
You-
It's
I
easy.
just changed the website today.
And there you go.
Tony.
It's so much easier to say too.
Yes,
So-
it is.
And that's easy change for me to make, but I like the fact that, number 6, like if you miss too many meetings, we can kick you off.
Can we do that before?
That how I can get out of here?
Oh, no,
except for Sandy.
except for
Or,
Sandy.
or say, or you have to serve another year.
Exactly, you're
That's
stuck here
fair.
for 5 years.
How long have I been here? Not even a year, I don't think.
No, not very long
that's
in the
good.
whole scheme of the world.
And there's an out in there unless the absences were due to reasons determined to be valid.
Right.
Right.
Sick.
Yeah,
you've got
They need a
business
doctor's note.
trip.
I'm
Right.
sick.
The trip.
Those are mine.
Okay,
Okay.
we're good. Number
then-
7?
Each member gets no money. Hopefully one day the town has money to pay its members or give them some benefit for all the work you guys do.
we'll get
Dinner.
you a Dairy Queen free ice cream
There
cone.
you
Go.
There you go.
We would work.
I don't know, I want at least a 10% raise on what I make now.
Inflation.
Yeah.
So 0 times 10% is,
$1.
0.
Yeah.
Done.
Here, Terry, I'll give you $1.
Oh, thank you.
And remind me how much is a quorum, like,
It's half of who you're supposed to have.
Half of
Okay.
your current members,
okay,
So we have to have 3
so 3 makes a quorum.
quorum,
Mhm.
because 2 wouldn't really, because you can't vote.
Right,
So you have to have 3.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna-
you are, changing that to where it- Ruth, are you changing that where it says no compensation right now? Because right now, number
Yeah,
11
I
says
just did.
for meeting attended monthly. Okay.
Okay, so our quorum changes so in the first paragraph.
It's, we got the same inconsistencies with the board of trustees too.
Cool.
But then how many members you mean? Or the cost?
Mhm.
Comp-
Various
Mhm.
things, their attendance, the cost and all of that.
Now?
Yeah. But that one may be a little different because that one's actually, I think, in the charter.
Yeah.
I think that the board, isn't that in the charter? The Board of Trustees, I'd have to look. P and Z isn't in the charter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
So then it goes on to say, okay, it's the planning commission's authority to grant variances. The Board of Trustees establishes fees or fee structure. And then this is where I added in our cost reimbursement agreement. Because it was stuck in under application.
Right.
Oh, yeah, so I moved it back over here. I don't know if we want to change anything in here based upon our current issue with the lien. So you know what's interesting is that our code doesn't authorize us to lien, but our agreement did. Kim, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
So
Good.
now it's gonna be in here too, yes?
Well, that's a question.
Oh, yeah,
Should be.
More-
Should
more-
be in both.
more places you can have that you can lean, the better it is.
Yep.
I'm gonna say including filing a Liz pendants because that makes so much
That
better.
makes,
And
yeah.
that avoids the future problems that the town may be facing. Okay. You like that, you guys? That's a good,
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good one.
development impact fees. So I battled with this today too, and I can change it. So it says, oh, we have the authority to impose development impact fees, but it's gonna stay in the section under the code where it lives right now, under revenue and finance, unless you guys want it here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Does it matter much where it sits?
Well, one
So
of the,
you,
one
you would
of our goals is to create, you know, a zoning code that's more streamlined. I just think that the impact fee kind of
that makes
belongs in the revenue, but
Yeah.
I'm not completely, I don't have an opinion that it's gonna hurt us one way or the other.
but you're gonna leave this little section in that says
Yeah.
where to, they happen to be here.
Correct. So that it's easy when somebody goes to our code now and says, oh, where's administration and enforcement?
Gotcha.
Yep, I think that's the best way is if we can, again, keep it easy as one place, but
Yeah,
then
like this,
refer
and
them
it
back
says-
to it.
Go to chapter 4.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay, so this is the biggest thing to focus on tonight is enforcement. Because we've been talking about this so long. And something the town is struggling with code enforcement, other aspects of our zoning code. So it gives the town manager, town planner, if we ever get one, code enforcement officer, I mean, we arguably have one by contract, or anybody else we designate, have the power to enforce the zoning code. And then you can read, you can issue written orders, notices of violations. And then, you know, the fees will have to go in the other provision of the code. And then we can sue people. There's strict liability. And we can enforce it by going to court or investigating notice abatement, and which is, I think, what we're looking for. We can deny or withhold permits on the same property, licenses, business licenses. We can revoke permits after a public hearing for failure to comply with our zoning code and building code, well, mostly our zoning code. We have to provide notice. And then we have the ability to issue a stop work order. That's limited only to buildings, which is not unusual. That is always reserved to the building official. We have cumulative remedies, which means we can sue them, we can get fees, we can get them to stop, we can revoke their permits, and we have all kinds of remedies. We're not liable. It's the last one. We also talked previously about the Board of Adjustment being clear about what their role was. We still have a 5-member board that allows the Planning Commission to act as the Board of Adjustment, which I think works in our community, unless you guys feel otherwise.
Wait, do we need, that's a 0.5 member board of adjustment, do we need to do 5 or minimum, or change that? Or-
No, I just keep it at 5.
Yeah, it's just 5 of you.
Yeah,
Are
that
we
way
gonna
they
be
can,
able to get 5?
they can pull from the planning commission for the Board of Adjustments.
Okay.
Right.
So we're
So,
Yeah,
not, it's okay to lock ourselves into,
Agreement was,
For the board, yeah.
right, but we don't
Instead of-
wanna. Okay, I
instead
just
of
didn't know if we
3.
wanted to have some
Wiggle?
room, yeah, I don't know, I'm just wondering.
Well, I would think, my opinion, I would think we don't really need to worry about that until we would actually have an appeal or something to come in. And then the Board of Trustees could say to you guys, we need 5 of you.
Okay, and we have to have 5.
Am I
on
right
ours,
on that?
and we have to have 5
And
on
that's the
ours.
way they work.
Mhm.
Okay, got
Okay.
it.
But it also means you can appoint other people, you know,
Yes.
somebody that, so
Oh,
it
you
does
can?
not have to be, it says it can be the
Right.
planning commission, but it doesn't have to be.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
if for some reason there was only 4 of us available, the town board could appoint one other person.
Okay, sounds good.
Make Kim come and sit with us.
Moving
Okay.
on.
Somebody can appeal. Here's the time for appeal. In these circumstances, you got to create a record. That's something I've never seen us do, but we may have to. It stays a decision, so no one can do anything while the appeal is occurring. That the next one sets forth how the public hearing has to occur and what the criteria is, and then somebody still has a right after that to appeal to district court. And then the next thing, which I love, and I hope you guys do too, is that it sets out in a very uniform, clear fashion who gets notice, when they get notice, and what's required. The issue that Kim and I have been debating is notice in the newspaper, which is easy to change, but I just wanted you all to see how much easier it makes everybody's job, or an applicant also can look at that for us as well.
yeah, this has been clear as mud trying to find it in there now.
Yep, absolutely.
That's
But it's
beautiful.
now, we'll be there now.
So could we change the newspaper to online? On the website, or no?
Well, I haven't determined that we can legally do that.
Okay,
And what is the it says posting, where is it?
out on the board.
Okay, on
Or
the.
But
That's
some, yeah, generally our posting is done in town hall.
Okay.
Right.
Yep, on the board, all
But-
the agendas, that kind of stuff go out there.
But you'll see in the next page where for online only, sorry, that's on me. I forgot about that. So posting, it's your next paragraph. So in some circumstances, we have to post the property, like PUDs, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were doing the museum school thing, we had to put a big posting out, so everybody knew we were doing the change in.
Didn't we have to do one for the school?
Yep, yeah, there was a big yellow sign out that said we were changing we were doing a variance from school to multi-use, yeah. Yeah,
So
we had
this-
to have-
Can you review with me, like what determines whether you post, how you post it? Like for the museum, what determined that it needed?
it
Look
was
at our
really,
schedule. Now our schedule tells you when.
yeah,
For PUD preliminary plan amendments. Special use permit,
it was pretty muddy, but
Okay.
now it's
had-
not. site
before it
specific.
had to be up at least 15 days before the first meeting. Mhm.
It's hard to time.
Yeah, and it was hard to time because we had to have the planning meeting, we had to have the town meeting, we had,
Mhm.
yeah. So,
Okay.
and notice had to go out to all the people around and, yes,
But now it's like right here in black
yes,
and white.
it's right here in black and white, much clearer.
And zoning code and map amendments is blank is,
I was about to ask, why is that blank all the way across through? Or is that the heading for everything that's underneath it?
I say that's underneath it. Next site, next site.
That might be an oversight because I know we have to,
Yeah,
we all know we had to post because it's a biggie.
yeah,
Maybe when I deleted conditional use, I lost it. Oh, but that's a good catch. So thank you. I'll fix that. And now the last part is just saying, here's how your sign needs to be. Do we have a uniform sign?
yeah, that's
We-
in the code.
We do,
No, I mean, do we have like a little to help applicants? Or we just tell them what they have to do? Like a lot of towns,
oh, I fill out the sign, it's a big yellow sign,
oh, okay, perfect.
fill it out.
Yeah, we fill it out Sasha fills it out for them, they come get it and then they post it.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I do have one question in this. All signs must be posted on the property not less than 15 or not less than 10 days? Is that because depending on what it is in the chart above?
Yep,
Okay. So, yeah. That just seems awkward is all. But, okay. As set forth in-
no, what that's talking about, I'm sorry, is about how the height of the sign.
What?
It needs to be like on a post or a wall no lower than 4 feet above grade.
Oh, no,
So-
I'm in 18-16-070 posting. And it says,
Oh.
all
Oh.
signs must be posted on the property not less than 15 or not less than 10 days prior to the scheduled public hearing is set forth in section 18-16-060. So I'm assuming that's the chart that they have to refer to on whether or not it's 15 or 10 days.
Right,
Okay, just double checking.
can we?
I mean, we can change that language to say above.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
yeah,
we have
go
a
above.
CC above,
Yeah, maybe it's,
so we don't miss it if something gets changed.
yeah. Just that sentence was a little awkward.
Yep, that's fine, that works.
Sorry, English teacher.
Snow is good. Oh, and there's a picture of the posting right there.
Ah.
Look at that.
Their option to make those signs smaller.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. They just need to be legible from the road. Now, what that means, I don't know. I've never been able to read one legibly from the road as I'm driving by, so.
They are.
Yes, because they are, it is
Stop and look at
huge. It is a giant sign.
And still hard.
We could half that.
I
Well,
don't,
I
this
can
one,
legibly.
Is
I
there a
mean, it
state
so
requirement?
this provision is saying that it's only 3 feet by 4 feet. Do you think it's bigger than that, what you guys are using? 3 by 4 feet is pretty big.
No, it's
Yeah,
about feet. It's 4 feet high and 3 feet wide.
yeah, I would guess it's 3 feet by 4 feet. It's a big sign.
Cause
And
that would
bright
be
yellow.
It's almost as big as me.
Yeah.
because of the
Those are
side.
2-foot squares.
I mean, if
So
I stick my little arms out,
that's really, I mean,
yeah,
it's probably
That-
about
Yeah,
the
that's
same.
about right.
yeah, it's a pretty big sign.
but it's,
Well,
But I think if you went any smaller,
it's gonna get past.
I don't
Yeah.
think you'll be able to read
No, we
it.
can leave it that size. I
yeah.
don't care. I'm not the one who has to put it out there.
No, it just makes it easier for you to write, because you don't have to write little.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can write big.
And it's enough of a, kind of like a,
Catches your eye.
It's a
Catches your
bright
eyes,
yellow,
right,
so
yeah.
you can't miss it.
If
If
you
we
drive
get-
by it often enough, you can read one word. at a time.
That's it, yeah.
Maybe a line.
Eventually you get it.
Eventually you get it all.
Yeah, or you wait until somebody really bitches and they stop and take a picture of it.
There you go, yes. Yeah, put it on Facebook.
There you go.
So
Then
that,
you
what
can
was,
read it.
was the 3 by 4 state? Is that what I heard?
Oh, I don't know.
I said state. I asked if there was a state
Okay,
requirement.
that's good.
but-
Ours says
I
3
can-
by 4.
I can go grab one so you can see it.
I think what Lori's asking, is there a required size by definition for state or county?
No,
that
I mean,
needs to be
it's
posted?
just, the concept is that it needs to be legible and visible so people are put on notice, because if you post a sign and it's not really visible, it's easy for them to say and challenge us, oh, well, I didn't see it, right, you know.
That's the sign?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
seems bigger.
That is the sign.
We
Yeah.
post.
That's,
bigger than
that's
3
bigger
by
than
4.
3 by 4.
That's a 4 by 5.
That
I
looks,
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm 5 foot tall.
Put it
Oh,
down
but
on
then
the
it
floor
is-
right there.
Then it is.
That's pretty big, and that sign's gotta be expensive.
No, it's gotta be 3 by 4.
It's a 3 by 4.
Yeah,
Yep.
because if you look at the squares on the floor, those are 2-foot squares.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay.
So put it right there.
That's a 3
It's
by 4.
3 by 4.
Can't go any
Ta-da.
smaller.
Yep, it's 3 by 4.
3 by 4, perfect.
So,
Okay.
that's what it looks like.
It's not really that huge. I mean, some of those banners and stuff, the county, some of the county ones are huge too.
Yes.
Much smaller.
I'm like wondering how,
Right.
I can't read that.
Yeah. You could go by.
Could you grab them all?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else for tonight?
I was
Ruth?
just gonna let you guys know that I put our new website on there. I almost deleted our phone number, like, oh, you can just check the website, but anyway.
That was so nice of you.
Have we set
Hi.
up meetings for January yet?
Right now, we have the next meeting set for January 6th, I think, which is the first Wednesday,
The 6th, it can be a third, right? Let me
or
get,
whatever the. Yes,
January
the
3rd
Yes,
is the first
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep, so
So-
it depends on if you guys still want to keep doing 2 meetings.
I want to stay ahead of.
Yeah, we need to stay ahead.
Let's finish this code stuff. Get
Okay,
it out of the way.
But Ruth, does January 3rd work with your schedule?
Yep.
Okay, so right now for January, we're looking at the 3rd and the
The 17th.
17th. Does that work for everybody else's schedules?
That works for me.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
We'll go 7.
Oh, that's good. Then we have a meeting every week.
Every other-
Ah,
Every other week.
No, but for those of us who have town and water, we have one every
Oh,
week. Well, that's not true. We don't have to come in the 4th week,
Right,
but
yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
3 weeks.
yes, we'll have 3 weeks. Yay.
so here,
Joy.
here's the question. January does have 3 Wednesdays. Do we want to tentatively schedule for the 31st of January as well?
Or do you want to skip that week and go back to the first?
Cause that would put us then at 3 weeks between our meeting on
And
the
there's only
17th.
2 in February. If we do that, if we do the 31st, we can skip and just do 2, the 14th and 28th
Yeah.
of February.
Yeah,
So we should probably do the 31st.
but I just need to, if we wanna stay on track, going every 2 weeks.
Just in case. We
Uh-huh,
could have a blizzard or.
Yeah.
we need to stay on track.
Yeah,
Okay, so you want the 31st added in there?
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay,
First of January?
Yes.
okay, and then,
3rd, 17th and 31st of January.
okay, and then in February, what dates are you looking for?
14th and
Oh,
the,
that's Valentine's
Oh, it's
Day.
Valentine's Day.
That's my husband's birthday.
I don't really want to be here on Valentine's Day.
If you've been married long enough.
So do we go?
so then do we
first week?
not do the 31st and do
And
the
go the
7th and the
7th and
21st?
Yeah.
Yes, seventh
Okay.
and 21st, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no 31st and
And
then
no
we'll go
31st.
7th and the 21st of February, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to go out as far as March? You want us to wait and see where we are?
I say we wait and see where we go.
Okay.
What do
You
you
should
guys
be
think?
done by then, you guys.
Yeah, we can get it done by then.
We should be moving forward with the Board of Trustees by then. It would be my hope.
The
Okay.
good thing
There's
is these
spring.
packets are getting a lot smaller and I like it.
Yes.
Yes.
We just need to take into consideration spring break in March.
Yeah,
Okay,
when
so,
that-
so
when that comes out.
we'll do January, February, and then we'll see where we are for March.
Okay,
Yeah,
But at least this gives us 4 meetings that we know we're going to.
yes.
Perfect.
Okay,
All right, do we have any other old business to take a look at?
no ma'am.
Any correspondence information?
I'm sorry, I have a meeting next week on the 27th, is
No.
that correct?
we
Nope.
changed it last week.
Sorry,
So delete that one. Yeah, nope, we didn't want to meet right after Christmas.
thank you.
Too many people in town, too many.
All right,
Or out of town?
We're
Too
out
much
of town.
chaos.
Yeah, all right, so
Okay.
we have no,
I'm good.
so do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:52?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:52.
All right, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, so we have a motion, and a second,
I'm
to
already-
adjourn the meeting at 6:52. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
All right.
We've been here 52 minutes.